Big trade. Big trade.
Imbalance resistance zone. 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 Imbalance resistance zone.
Backtest this like order flow stuff always work better on CM.
Big trade.
I would back test more price-based things that always work better on CB.
Absorption support zone.
Maybe I usually didn't test that one, but
Big
some
trade.
sort of weird behavior that changes between them, and I'm not sure why. Right? And there seems to be some stylized behaviors of spreads. Like spreads do seem to have
Imbalance resistance zone.
mean reversion behavior, and like there's limits on how far it will go before that you'll see people fight against it, and I'm not entirely sure what causes those. I mean, I would have some idea of it, but not to the degree of which I could like write a study about it. You know what I mean? It's probably making the whole desk shake. But anyways, the thing is I think that like the low latency part is a key part of that book, right?
Imbalance resistance zone.
Because what he's saying is
Imbalance resistance
how
zone.
to price out a swap, for instance, right? Well, what he's saying is, here's how you do it really, really quickly so that you can be competitive.
Imbalance resistance zone.
Automated strategy.
Big trade.
I don't know where I read this.
Imbalance resistance zone.
Where they tend to have positive results from momentum-based indicators like RSI.
Imbalance resistance zone.
I think the one that I probably used the most was CCI. I have a version of CCI that
Big
I
trade.
think
Big trade.
where the period that it uses
Imbalance resistance. Absorption support zone. Absorption support zone.
and I've always found that to be effective. So like, if I come in and I have a strategy that I think has some efficacy, let's just pick something random. Let's just say we can pick a random, like, you know, a candlestick pattern or something like that, right? If I then add
Big trade.
the adaptive CCI as a filter on that indicator, my performance always improves. So it seems like there is some efficacy to that indicator, which is the best I've seen in terms of like relative momentum, because that's kind of what CCI does for you. Is it kind of shows you how
Imbalance support zone.
is there now compared to before.
Imbalance resistance zone.
Is the book the same one? Oh, probably.
Big trade.
Because he did have stuff on SSRM. Yeah, that is it. That is it.
Imbalance support zone.
Big trade.
Yeah.
Imbalance support zone.
If you go back
Imbalance
and look
support
at
zone.
him and like his name here. So if you come on to SSRM.
Imbalance resistance zone.
Right, he has like a bunch of papers. And basically what he did was
Big
he
trade.
took these papers that he had written and kind of combined them into the book. So, but probably a lot of these things are things that you are already familiar with, right? So like
Imbalance support zone. Imbalance resistance zone. Absorption support
not
zone.
necessarily interested in constructing a robot,
Imbalance resistance zone.
then
Imbalance resistance zone.
But
Imbalance resistance zone.
it seems to me like
Absorption
this might
support
be
zone.
a good alternative to some of the classics, right? Because you get like the same kind of information about how you do the process.
Imbalance resistance zone. Absorption support zone.
And stuff like that.
Imbalance resistance zone. Imbalance resistance zone. Imbalance resistance zone.
But like I said, I don't think that's the one. Yeah, I was talking from my learning for someone completely new to me. It's really You're interested in
Imbalance resistance zone.
Maybe I should
Imbalance resistance zone.
I am going to read this one first though. Machine learning and finance. Because I want more information on how to use Markov decision-making processes and so forth to see if I can improve some
Big
of my,
trade.
Imbalance resistance zone.
based on market depth pressure. So I'm hoping that incorporating some
Imbalance resistance zone.
The thing is I don't know enough about the machine learning and its application to know where the applications would be the most beneficial. So we're just gonna have to read it. I'm sure we're gonna learn lots of things. The ECB's Nagel speaking at the moment.
Big trade.
What is it that he said here?
Imbalance support zone.
ECB rates are not
Big trade.
Imbalance support zone.
What do I mean by market depth pressure? So if I come in here to my DOM and I say, based on
Imbalance
the 10
support
percent,
zone.
or maybe not even the 10, let's just say that the foremost inside levels, what is
Big.
the
Absorption resistance zone.
and then my indicators, they
Big trade.
and stuff. So they will look at the maximum and minimum of
Imbalance
each
support zone.
price level during that time period and so forth to try and filter out the robots that are randomly stacking and pulling to create noise and so forth. Right?
Big
What you
trade.
should get is kind of this balance. And what you're gonna find is that one side will have more limit orders than the other side, almost always. There's almost always some sort of an imbalance. And when that imbalance shifts, you will start to see different behavior in the way that the instrument changes, right? But I wish that it was as simple as, okay, when you see that imbalance change, now you want to start taking longs, or whatever the deal is. But what I found is that there appears to be some sort of regime switching mechanism behind it, which is to say that in some regimes, the market will always go towards the liquidity, and in other regimes, the market will always move away from the liquidity. And so the hope is that by incorporating some momentum effects, and maybe some metrics based on the market orders as well, and combining them into some sort of a Markov machine learning process, that it may be able to sort that system out so that you kind of are able to get a strategy that's a little more consistent. Because the way that
Imbalance support
the
zone.
tests were working before was like it will work like perfectly that week, and then the next week it will completely shift, and then the next week after that
Absorption resistance zone.
So we
Absorption resistance zone.
for us. And I remember, and part of it is that
Imbalance support zone.
some guys at the bank saying something about that there's a definite edge to like what what pressure is.
Imbalance support zone.
So complicated that they couldn't explain it to me. Which now when I look back at it, I'm like, maybe they were trying to explain
Imbalance support zone.
it. So that's why I'm interested in it. So we'll see what happens. In either event,
Imbalance resistance zone. Absorption support zone. Absorption support zone.
So I think that in order to really up my skills in a way that would
Big
trade
trade.
towards trying to program automated strategies and so forth, that machine learning is the next step that I need to take. So that's why that book comes first. The other book maybe gives us an idea
Imbalance
about
resistance
I'm
zone.
kind of worried that I'll read that book and then I won't actually use any of it.
Big trade. Big trade.
Yeah. Can also use correlation with other assets to identify shifts.
Big trade.
Yeah, it's something that I would like to incorporate, but I don't know.
Big trade.
Markov. Yeah. It's spelled Narkov.
Big trade.
Okay, so like, I'm gonna read you like this straight definition of it, okay?
Imbalance resistance zone.
Is a stochastic model. So a stochastic model would mean a model dealing with
Imbalance resistance zone. Very good for the
describing
day.
a sequence of
Big
possibilities
trade.
in which the probability of each event depends only on the state attained in the previous event. Informally, this may be thought of as what happens next depends only on the state of affairs now. So the way that these models kind of work is they say there's some underlying state that we can't see.
Imbalance support zone. Imbalance resistance zone.
That we are
Imbalance resistance zone.
right now. And if we're in
Big
this state
trade.
right now, then there's a certain
Big
probability
trade.
Absorption resistance
this
zone.
different state,
Big trade.
right? So
We're gonna
start
push.
computing through what's the chances that I'm in this state and what's the chances that I, morphed into this state, and there's all this complicated vector math that you can do. to
Absorption
calculate.
resistance
And
zone.
you get this model.
Absorption resistance zone.
So
Absorption resistance
a
zone.
common example that they usually use is they say,
Imbalance
okay,
support
let's say
zone.
that the market has three states: trending up, trending down, and range bound. Right? Based on current, past prices. What is the
Imbalance
chances
resistance zone.
uptrend state? And then you get this marker system that kind of tells you which state you're most likely in every time. And then you can use that state thing to say, okay, so when we think we're in this state, then we want to use this strategy. When we think we're in this state, we want to use this strategy. And then if the Markov model actually does apply there, then that should improve the performance of that system. So that's what a Markov system is.
Imbalance support zone.
Sounds Russian to me.
Imbalance resistance zone.
And I know that they talk about
Give me-
Markov models and things.
Yep.
But I think that the big thing that I'm
Imbalance
going to
support zone.
That's
where
good. That's
where
good.
does
That's
the
good.
machine learning stuff actually apply? Because what I've heard is that there's a lot of people trying to just
Imbalance support zone.
take a big group of data and slather it against a machine learning model, and then when you try forward testing it doesn't work, right? So the question is, where is the machine learning parts applicable? Overslept? Every once in a while I'll end up being late because I overslept, but usually that just means that I can't shower or eat. So yesterday I went to a walk-in orthopedic clinic because my elbow was bothering me. But really the thing that's bothering me the most is my back. I just, like when I hurt my neck, it's still sore.
Ce n'est pas une bonne zone pour prendre une position.
Oh, you have that book coming today?
Ou pour scalper en général.
So I got it yesterday. I'm just impressed with the book. Like when I saw it on Amazon,
Big trade.
that was kind of a boring color and a boring looking book. But when you get it in your hand, it's like this vibrant orange green, and it's just a hefty book. So it's definitely a book that I'm happy to have in my collection. I'm glad that I have a physical copy. So one of the nice things about these like really more quantitative books and stuff is you can usually find them all. And they're not cheap books either, right?
Ce n'est pas une bonne zone pour scalper. Comme on peut voir, il y a échappé zone.
Imbalance resistant zone.
Il y a une grosse bataille entre les sellers et les buyers. Puisque هنا هي في البوك على جانفي
Imbalance resistant zone. Imbalance resistant zone.
Big trade.
There was
Imbalance support zone.
in the treasuries on the open, and
Imbalance resistant zone.
changes in the yield curve, but it kind of all ended up being a wash and nothing really. We have a federal so Powell will be speaking at 10 o'clock Eastern, or sorry, 12 o'clock Eastern time today, and it's an event that is likely for him to say, you know,
Imbalance resistant zone.
so I expect that the action before that might be pretty difficult. You have 10 tick range in ZN snooze fest. It is, you know, it's really crazy how when ZN goes into
Imbalance resistant zone.
Mad meaningfully tight it really truly is. It's, you know, everybody says, oh yeah, right, coming off of the range and everything, but try doing that in ZN. It'll drive you crazy. It's better to just not touch it, man. That's my conclusion after trying all these many different ways is that when ZN is not moving, it's best to just leave it alone. Which is why
Imbalance support
it's
zone.
kind of useful in the first place in the beginning was because in 2017 this was like every other day, right? So having people to talk to was really, really helpful. Oh, your time zone is GMT, that's right. Well, I wake up at 5:30 every day, and I usually try to start going to bed at 9:30. Latest I'll ever stay up is 11. I guess last night I didn't really fall asleep.
Imbalance support zone.
So I didn't get very good sleep last night.
Yep.
But I usually don't notice. 11 is a good. But let me tell you
Imbalance support
something.
zone.
At least for me, few things have done more for my productivity than waking up early. because I tend to wake up at that time.
Imbalance support zone. Imbalance support zone.
It's you know, nobody else is awake. There's nobody else to bother you, and people are more productive in the mornings. So if it's a Saturday or a holiday, and I wake up at that same time, but I'm not streaming and I just work, I get so much stuff. You know, those 2 or 3 hours, you can get a lot done. You can get a lot done. Yeah, you get
Big trade.
Imbalance support zone.
That's why I think I didn't fall asleep until 11, because I was like in bed, and then he started found another indicator he was interested in. So I'm trying to talk.
Come back. Yes. Ah, Mohamed. Ah,
Imbalance support zone.
Pas grave, on cherche un autre truc.
He was asking about
Imbalance resistance
that
zone.
looked like price action swings, so I sent him over the one. The one that I sent over, it should have more than
Ouais,
one thing.
j'ai raté.
Right? 'Cause
Un
there's-
short, ouais. Normalement. Mais c'est pas grave, on cherche autre chose.
not show
Big trade.
So go to indicators. It's going to pop up, you know, under Poncho, I believe. So there's 2 indicators in this one. There's price action swinging and price action swinging.
Imbalance resistance zone.
So price action swing gives you the swings, and it gives you metrics about each swing, each point, right? And then the oscillator kind of gives you, okay, how much volume is trading up until we get to the swing point, and then you can see it goes back down to 0, and now it's
Imbalance
red.
resistance
Because it's a
zone.
downswing and it goes back to 0, and now it's green, right? So but like I said,
Big trade.
it's really, I think it's really flawed to
Imbalance support
try and
zone.
get each one of these segments and as a data point, and then trying to do your analysis based off of that. I understand why people
Yep.
that
Imbalance support zone.
I think that
That's.
Absorption resistance.
Big
Ah,
trade.
yeah. That was
Imbalance
good.
resistance zone. Imbalance resistance zone. Imbalance resistance
that
zone.
matter. You could have a situation where the market is moving up against that flow, because there's some counter flow, and so you can't use the swings per se as the starting and ending point of those different metal orders, right?
Imbalance resistance zone.
That's the other thing saying, like that you want the range chart. So I think this one will show you volume and so forth, right?
Imbalance resistance
So
zone.
here's the thing, is that you'll be able to get like metrics for like volume, cumulative delta probably, stuff like that. So I don't think that this one does cumulative delta. And like I said, Jigsaw has cumulative delta. There's
Une grosse bataille entre les sellers et les buyers.
but my
Ça arrive toujours.
it's like
Finit
showing
qu'on
stuff
normalement
actually on the
book.
book. Because that information has to be saved to a time series, right? In order for me to do anything with that, I have to have the underlying time series involved, right? And because this range is going to be broken maybe somewhere in between.
Imbalance support zone. Absorption resistance zone.
Right? So
Imbalance support zone.
and you control the swings to only plot on orange and blue.
Absorption resistance zone.
Make the
Imbalance support zone.
only be orange or blue.
Imbalance support zone.
See, I'm
Shoppy, shoppy, shoppy,
you
shoppy.
can do what you want, but like when I hear that stuff, I'm immediately like, yeah, that's probably not a good way to approach it. I don't know if you can change the coloring of the bars. There's certainly a lot of options for you to change the colors, so right? Like you can change the color of the zigzag.
Imbalance support zone.
Or you can choose to not show the zigzag and only have the text. And you can change the color of the text based on, you know, or whether it was a higher high or lower high or whatever it is, right? Interesting.
Big trade.
Absorption resistance zone.
Another thing you really got to be aware of with the price action swing thing, so it's showing you right now. So they have a potential swing low, double low, and now it's moving up, right? So if this all of a sudden turns back,
Normalement, je traite jamais في
what will happen?
البلاصة
is
ديال
it will just extend
point of
that
control ديال volume.
further down. So like
Donc,
if paints has
Je vais prendre aucun trade en ce moment. Parce qu'on fait rien du tout. On descend, on monte, on descend, on
Big
monte, on
trade.
descend, on monte. It's shoppiness. Normalement, faut casser ce niveau ou bien ce niveau. Ici, faut pas trader.
then the swing is created as soon as color changes, it starts. No, I don't. Okay. The way that this works is there's a swing size, and essentially, in order for you to have a confirmed swing low, it has to pull back from that low.
Imbalance resistance zone.
7 ticks. So if it's 7 ticks or higher, so if it's like 8 ticks, then I can say that there's a swing high, and it can make a new dot. But not until that happens. So until that happens, it's a tentative. Right?
Absorption
That's why
support
it's like,
zone.
there's a dot.
Absorption support zone.
But if it goes lower, what it's going to do is it's going to redraw all of
Big
those
trade.
bars to show that, oh, actually we were still in a downtrend that whole time. Right? So like right now, you don't see it. You just see that there was a swing high, and now we're on a downswing right now, right? But there was several points
Imbalance resistance
in that
zone.
downtrend where it came back up significantly, right? And so you would have seen the line would have been like this.
Imbalance support zone.
Maybe tentatively you get a new swing high or something like that, right? So the point is like when you look at it, you look at the zigzags and you say, oh, okay, so this was the high and this is the low. This is what I want. I want to see what happens.
Imbalance resistance zone.
And what I'm saying is the problem is that when that high and that low is created, you don't actually know that it's the high or the low. The indicator redraws after the fact to make the past chart look correct to you.
Imbalance resistance
So
zone.
some of these metrics that you might want to use,
Big trade.
right? This is not going to make sense because, like again, right now it says 365K.
Absorption support
But
zone.
if this pushes
Absorption
down to
support zone.
then that point
Imbalance
is
resistance
It's
zone.
not going to be 365 anymore.
Imbalance resistance zone.
So I do have one of these on here.
Un petit scalp de 8
I
points.
have it.
Absorption support zone.
So why am
On
I
est
using
bien.
it? The only thing that I care about here is how large were the swings, and I'm using that as a measure of So if I'm gonna come in here
Absorption support zone. Imbalance resistance zone.
realize and account for the fact that there are trends here in the treasury.
Normalement, on fait rien du tout pour le
that
moment.
have been almost 16 ticks, right?
Imbalance
Déjà,
resistance.
on est à
Absorption
2000 dollars de
support
gain.
zone.
Right? Because what are the
On a tradé combien? 30
Imbalance
minutes. Je crois
resistance.
que
Absorption
je
support.
vais arrêter dans pas longtemps.
Absorption support
Parce
zone.
que
order flow
là, on fait rien du tout.
then your risk
On
management
a réussi à scalper, à prendre quelques positions.
Big trade.
Je crois que c'est le moment d'arrêter.
This other stuff,
Je vais voir ce qui va se passer d'ici
Absorption support
l'après-midi.
zone.
this number was bigger than this number. The volume on this swing was larger than the volume on this swing. The market orders on this.
Big trade.
The market orders doesn't mean shit. Doesn't. It's
Donc
just.
on a des acheteurs demand zone.
And the trap that I'm afraid that you're gonna fall into is you're gonna see all these little toys. You're gonna want to add every little toy that you can find. And instead of focusing on like the things, like the time that you really should be spending is like, reading through your bedroom. Yeah, I'm not quite sure I understand why you wanted to
Big trade.
Imbalance resistance zone.
Why? Like it seems to me that the only reason you care is because you want these new measures printed out on the chart above the swing high and the swing low, right? But what I'm trying to say is that like
Imbalance support zone.
draws, and when it draws is like really important, right? So let me show you something different here. Let's take this oscillator.
Normalement, on trouve toujours des buyers à le niveau réel. Mute saud. C'est un niveau solide.
Imbalance support zone. Imbalance support zone.
Okay, so now it's only showing me this
Ouais, c'est un
swing
niveau
and
solide.
how big this swing was, right?
Normalement, هنا جينا قصنا le niveau et طلعنا ل
Imbalance
118.
support zone.
Là, عاوتاني قصنا, on est en train de monter. On va voir comment ça va.
Imbalance support zone.
This will get into the same question, okay? So
Enfin,
now I have
maintenant,
this
قصنا
Big trade.
for somebody.
ما طلعناش بحال طالع.
Price
Donc it's a little bit weak. On va voir comment ça va réagir maintenant. Mais je crois que ça va casser. Non,
Imbalance
ça va casser.
resistance
Ouais,
zone.
maintenant ça va casser. On va voir. Mais je crois que ça va casser.
I have
Le marché est un peu weak. Nasdaq, je suis à... En tout cas, moi j'arrête là. Je crois pas que je vais prendre d'autres trades. On est à 2000 dollars, donc on arrête là. Mais je vais voir, je vais regarder ce niveau. Ça va casser haut.
Imbalance support zone.
maybe if I put the other thing on here. some bots. How did I freaking do it?
Unbound
Donc ouais,
support
on a
zone.
réussi à trouver des acheteurs.
Big trade.
Le marché عاوتاني rebonda في هاد le niveau هذا. Mais je crois que ça va être comme ça toute l'après-midi حتى النيوز.
Absorption
اليوم
resistance.
عندنا الفيد شير غادي
Unbound
يهضروا
support zone. Unbound support
d'ici
zone.
واحد جوج سوايع ونص. Donc je crois que ça va jouer comme ça toute la journée.
Absorption
Avec le
resistance
niveau,
zone.
je crois le niveau الفوقاني. Donc pour moi, je crois que je vais m'arrêter là. Merci pour les gens, les chefs, le stream et à bientôt.
What is the end goal of all this? Like to get rich, to make a living doing this, or
Big trade. Big trade.
Oh,